Despite winning more consecutive rounds than any other fighter in UFC history, Georges St-Pierre's legacy is largely dependent on his ability, or lack thereof, to finish fights. After all, there is a reason why Michael Jordan's ability to slam dunk a basketball has helped him go down as the greatest player in NBA history. But how many people can name the highest point getter in NBA history?
This is MMA Thoughts Daily.
Let me begin by saying Georges St-Pierre is more than just a phenomenal athlete. He's possibly got the most explosive takedowns the sport has ever seen, which make his transitions from stand-up to grappling among the most difficult to anticipate, let alone defend. With that being said, there is something to the argument that Georges St-Pierre's detractors have against his inability to finish fights. We're not simply talking about a one-and-done champion here. We're not just judging the most dominant welterweight in the sport's history. Georges St-Pierre, by his own admission, wants to be remembered as the greatest pound-for-pound fighter that ever existed. This is a man who speaks frequently of his legacy and his desire to reach unparalleled legendary status. So when you're talking about that level, the very pinnacle of the sport, then finishing fights means something. The obvious comparison here is Anderson Silva, a man who went on a bit of a slide in 2008 when he clocked less than stellar performances against Patrick Cote, Talis Litis, and Damian Maia. But he's also established himself as a prolific finisher in the UFC. His highlight reel boasts a variety of stunning knockouts and a few submissions against highly touted ground fighters such as Chael Sonnen and Dan Henderson. Now, of course, the common argument is that Georges St-Pierre is facing tougher challenges in the welterweight division than Anderson Silva is at middleweight. But how much credence does that argument truly have? Is Josh Koscheck really that much better than Nate Marquardt? Is Dan Hardy a tougher opponent than Vitor Belfort? Is a monstrously big Thiago Alves leaps and bounds better than Forrest Griffin? Don't misunderstand this commentary as a bashing of Georges St-Pierre. GSP is the greatest welterweight fighter of all time, bar none. He's among the best pound-for-pound fighters ever, and will go down in history as one of the most dominant champions the sport has ever seen. To cement these legacies, he doesn't have to change a thing about the way he fights. But if he wants to be remembered as the all-time greatest, the true number one, then he's got two options. Start finishing fights, or beat the guy who, as of right now, is at the top of the sport, Anderson Silva. Oh, and the all-time point getter in NBA history? Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, with 38,387. Michael Jordan is third.
MMA Thoughts Daily.